Hi, Jacinta. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So, if for those of you who don't know, I have Jacinta here from Dignity NZ. She's one of the co-founders, and she's also working for a fantastic payroll and sort of SaaS organization called FlexiTime. So, Jacinta, if you just want to just give us a little intro about what Dignity is, and then kind of what your role there is, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, definitely. So, Dignity is a women's wellbeing initiative, and we provide a couple of things. One is our buy one, give one period products in the workplace initiatives that corporates like ANZ, Cigna, Chapman Tripp sign on to, and they provide these for free in the bathrooms, and we give away the equivalent to those in need. So, that includes schools, community groups, women's organisations. And we've recently launched our Give To initiative where individuals can buy 2 boxes for us to give both of those away. So I'm a co-founder of that alongside Miranda. We started 3.5 years ago, came out of a business bootcamp at the university, worked part-time on it for a long time, and now there's both of us as directors. We have a general manager and also a part-time operations manager as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so when you talk about those big corporates, how have you found the kind of reception when you approach them?
Really good. I think once you put it in the context of this is just like providing tea and coffee, it makes sense. So with our corporates, there's a really like strong alignment to our values and wanting to provide something tangible for staff. So we end up talking to amazing HR managers across New Zealand, and a lot of them actually approach us, or we get warm introductions to these awesome corporates. And I think that's what's really important, is that they are partners and that they are really signing on to believe in our mission.
That's cool. I really like the fact that you managed to get the big guys play the game too, because a lot of that stuff does need to come sort of top down, doesn't it? A grassroots movement is fantastic, but sometimes you really need that those big players to sign on too. And so you talk about community organisations and schools and stuff. What sort of volume of product are we kind of talking about here?
Mm. Definitely. So to date, I believe that we've given away 27,000 boxes of product. So that's organic initiative, pads, tampons, and menstrual cups. We've also given 1,000 pairs of period underwear away. So that is a significant amount of product that students and those in need have been freely able to access, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, just for people that are obviously quite ignorant about, that whole side of life, like what does period poverty mean, to these girls and women?
Yeah, definitely. So period poverty can be defined as, I guess, you don't have the means or access to have these products. And so, a lot of women or students were makeshifting items or going without or staying at school, staying home from school. And that's really concerning because New Zealand's a first world country and that shouldn't be happening. And
Yeah.
this is just an essential product. So I think we've seen some remarkable results, and we do impact reporting each quarter. I know 72% of the schools have said that students are able to come to school because of these items being there. It's reduced feelings of shame, increased
Mm.
self-esteem, and because we've got our sustainable business model, the schools and the organisations get donations every quarter, so the students are able to have access to these items on an ongoing basis.
That's right. It becomes a reliable sort of service, doesn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, I can't imagine the anxiety that would come with not knowing when you'd be able to access something like that again.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then, so obviously, I mean, you just touched on it from a university business boot camp, but
Yeah.
just into everybody is she comes from a fantastic agricultural community in Heartland, New Zealand. So, kind of, what led you from there to the business boot camp and coming up with the plan and the idea for Dignity?
Yes, I'm originally from Fielding in the Manawatu, 16,000 people, and moved to Wellington in 2014 to do my undergraduate degree at Victoria University in Commerce. And both Miranda and I were really heavily involved in our communities back home. She's from Christchurch and provided a Meals on Wheels service during the earthquake. I was really involved in the youth council and volunteering for a whole lot of organisations. So both of us had this very giving spirit, but also recognised the downfalls of a charitable structure and relying on donations that isn't sustainable in the long term. So
Yeah.
we were flatting together in 2016 and saw this bootcamp opportunity come up. We were going to build an app like everyone wants to do is build an app. Um, and during that 12-week business bootcamp, we changed to the model that we have today in terms of it being a business-to-business model, because we realised, well, why aren't these items just there when
Mm.
you need them? And a lot of news stories were starting to circulate around period poverty. So it comes from, I think, both of our values in terms of giving back and wanting to support the community, and I think a big thing for both of us is using our education, and we've had a lot of privilege in our lives. How can we do something to improve other people's lives?
Yeah, that's really cool. And so in this business boot camp, was it kind of like a mentoring process? And if yes, which I imagine hopefully the answer will be yes, is do you still have a business mentor that, you're kind of bouncing stuff off, they're giving advice and things?
Yeah, so it was a guided boot camp. So went through customer discovery, business model, market research. So we had a mentor that we met up with every week. And then it went to a final pitch night in the February. And so he's still part of our advisory board to date. So that's been really important for us, is to have real adults that can,
Yeah.
give us that support and encouragement. So we have an advisory board that meets every 3 months. So we've got Grant Foggo, who's been our sales coach and a really great business mentor here in Wellington. Anthony Cabral, who was with us during the boot camp and has now seen us still alive 3.5 years later,
Yeah.
and Ruth McDavid, who was the CEO of Summer of Tech. So they've been awesome mentors to, I think, give us really good encouragement and also question us as well in terms of our strategic direction.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot, especially startups, they lack accountability, and especially
Mm.
internal accountability can be really hard. Yeah, so that sounds really cool that you've still got those guys around to make sure that
Mm.
you're on track and doing what needs to be done. And then, so also from a support perspective, so obviously you're working full time at Flexi Time. Are they being really considerate and understanding of your other kind of uh, responsibilities?
Yeah, no, definitely they're a really flexible employer, and I really value that. And they also value that the skills that I built with Dignity have actually really helped with my partnership manager role now, and that it's helped to grow me as a person. So really flexible and really supportive, and that's what you want from an employer,
Mm,
because I think more and more people will have the portfolio type careers where they're not just doing one thing in their lives. They are, doing multiple things and being involved in a wider community.
yeah, yeah. And so, it all sounds really positive so far. What have kind of been the downsides that even if it's just been a stumbling block or kind of any sort of reputation stuff, is there any kind of thing that's been sort of a bit of a negative about this process?
I think in the early days, we found it a little bit difficult within ourselves and also externally to be taken seriously as women in business. We'd get called girl bosses or those dignity girls a lot. And it's like you'd never call Mark Zuckerberg when he first started a boy boss. So I
Mm,
think that language has been really important, and having supporters and us growing in confidence. Um, to feel really comfortable that yes, we are entrepreneurs, yes, we've created an impact business that is sustainable and now employing staff,
yeah,
and so gaining that confidence within ourselves. And also COVID was just happened so quickly, and really grateful that we live in a healthy country now, but that was just so full on doing emergency meetings every single day leading up to that lockdown period. And Those first few weeks were tough and working out whether we'd survive, and we have. So I'm, yeah, very proud that we've managed to survive COVID as an organization.
Yeah, no, that's really
Mm.
cool. And then obviously working for a SaaS company, across that COVID period has been pretty useful. And I can, speak from my own experience that, again, we're really lucky that everything we needed to do can be done online.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's really important and highlighted, I think, for a lot of people that, okay, how do you work remotely? How can you still engage with your clients and make sure that they're feeling supported even if you can't see them in
Mm,
person? With a lot of the accountants and bookkeepers I work with, I think they've done an amazing job supporting their clients because, yeah, so many questions and a lot of government initiatives to kind of get your head around as well. So yeah, I think it's been fantastic how the whole country's really supported each other.
cool. And so what's kind of the next steps for Dignity? What's the next level you want to kind of get to?
Mm. We definitely want to still normalize our initiative, and even if that's not people doing it through us, is that the businesses themselves within their own facilities management just see this as another normalized item and pick it up in the milk run, that type of thing, and put a box of tampons in the bathroom. And for us is really growing our partnerships with community organisations. So we support family planning and a few homeless shelters and things. So how can we support those that aren't necessarily in the school environment but are still experiencing period poverty?
Yeah.
So that's where we're heading, and hopefully growing the team more. I think that's been one of my favourite parts of Dignity is employing people and being a living wage employer has been a really proud moment for us.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And I think that, cause-based employment is going to be such a key part to driving, that desire to come and work for organizations like yourself is I think that people are starting to realize that it's, there's more to life than just showing up Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. It's nice to be
Mhm.
part of something bigger.
Yeah, and I think you'll see that especially with the millennial and Gen Z generation is they are looking for that why. Why does your company exist? And I do think that most companies will have an element of social impact within their business models, that it's not going to be seen as this token side piece that you do CSR and you donate to this charity every year and that's it,
Yeah.
that people will be wanting more purpose, like you're saying, within their work.
That's right. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think Rocketspark especially is such a great company to be involved with, because of our support for the not-for-profit sector, charities, churches, community groups, clubs. We've
Mm.
got a lot of those that we either fully sponsor or we offer discounted rates for. And I think that's a really cool thing to be a part of. And it's really
Mm-hmm.
nice to see like the results you can drive. Like a lot of
Yeah.
what we do is quite tangible. And obviously from your perspective, I think too that removing kind of the taboo-ness around periods and period products and things, I think is also probably something that is quite big on your kind of dream board. Am I right in that thinking?
Yeah, and I think the time has come and it's a lot more normalised now. It's been spoken about in the media. There's more initiatives. There's government support now. So yeah, I think things move with the times, but there's been some really great groups in this industry that have pushed that conversation along.
That's awesome. And then, so just lastly, I asked Kelly Johnson from Her Energy last week when I talked to her about
Yeah,
her success, and I said to her, if you had one bit of advice for someone wanting to make a change in the world, what would that be?
do it. Start. I think sometimes you can just wait because you're wanting someone else to do it. You're like, oh, this is a good idea, but someone is going to do it, or it shouldn't be me. Yes, it should be you. Just start. And I think just talk about it. Just start talking about it. If Miranda and I hadn't spoken together when we were flatmates about a business idea, this never would have happened if
Mm.
we'd just both stayed in our rooms and not talked about it. So I think just start. Just go.
So no, that's cool. Thanks, Jacinta, and yeah, we'll keep in contact, and we'll be keen to help where we can in any time in the future.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Cheers.